Hi there, Damien here. I thought I'd show you the process as far as setting up an MP3 mix for a backing track. Um, now, I've been working for hit tracks for nearly 30 years and still love what I do. And if you haven't been following my channel, a backing track is basically a recreation of a song. It could be any kind of song, and you've just got to basically um, um, recreate it as close as you can to the original within reason. Um, so chiefly the format that I do is a MIDI file format that can be played by general MIDI synthesizers. General MIDI is a format where you can um, play whatever general MIDI file on any synthesizer, and all the sounds will be exactly set up the way they should be. But there is a limitation to the format because you're pretty limited as far as what you can do with the sounds you use. For example, if I'm using a Wurlitzer, well, let me rephrase that. If there's a Wurlitzer on an original recording, there's no Wurlitzer electric piano patch. So I just got to use what I can, which is just the electric piano 1 preset. So obviously, when I do MP3 mixes, I can harness the original sound and get it as close as I can to the original. I've started doing MP3 mixes in the late double O's because I thought, like, I'm not just going to output the sound from my general MIDI synthesizer to an MP3, because I want to really give it some kick, and especially with the song I'm going to show you, because it's a real club heavy song. Playing just bouncing down the output from my general MIDI synthesizer just is not going to cut it. And also because I am involved in the hip hop world outside of what I do for hit tracks, I know that any MP3 mix that I'm going to do in that lane is going to really thump. So we're going to look at Boots on the Ground by 803 Fresh. So let's go into my Logic world. So firstly, I'm going to show you the original session where I programmed the MIDI file for Boots on the Ground. Now, hopefully, if this goes through, here's a little slither of what the original track sounds like. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah. That's as far as I'll go. So, I'll give you a bit of a rundown. So, whenever I do a new backing track for hit tracks, I always start with a template file. And what you see here, all of these regions that are this kind of length at the start of the song are the header regions. And so the header region has what is basically all the information that is transmitted to the MIDI file player, so that all the parts have all the right instruments and things like that. So for example, if we go to this track and I bring up the event list editor in Logic, this is what you get. So you've got clean guitar, so that's the main kind of get riff in the song, and it's got things like the volume level of the track, the panning, that's where it is in the stereo fields, expression, which is to do with using the expression control number off of your keyboard or a pedal, chorus depth, which is if you know what chorus is, it's a chorus effect, pitch, bend, range, all those kinds of things. So then, so all that information happens in the first bar. Then the second bar is a count in, and then the song starts proper. Now, these days, as I mentioned in the introduction, I use AI to separate out the vocals from the instrumental, and it makes a world of difference, particularly if I'm working on a song where there's a lot of things going on, and a lot of vocals, and separating the vocals and listening in really closely to what's going on instrumentally has been a game changer for me. But anyway, that's enough from this session. We're going to go out, and I'm going to show you how we get this mix ready. So I'll just save this current project. So now what we're going to do is go into the MIDI file. So I always start, when I do an MP3 mix, obviously we start with a MIDI file. So boots on the ground, right click it, because if double click it, it's going to go into QMIDI, which is a app that I use on the Mac to synchronize the lyrics to the music, because the MIDI file will also be used for karaoke purposes. So in this case, we're not going to use QMIDI, we're going to use Logic. So we right click on open with, or rather, let me rephrase. I right click on the file, choose open with, and go Logic. So by default, Logic always looks at the tracks and finds sounds in its stock library of sounds that will possibly work with the song. Now, sometimes there might be the odd chance that a sound that is on the track already will be exactly what I need for a song, but a lot of times it's not going to be the case. So that's where my sample libraries and plugins will play a big part in this. So this is obviously the MIDI file, because when I save a MIDI file, it all has to be one continuous region per track. So that's how it works. So what we're going to do is what I always do firstly is mute all the tracks, unmute the first track. So in this case, it's going to be the clean guitar track. And what I will do is, for this, I'm pretty sold on the Orange Tree Samples guitar libraries that are compatible with Contact. So I'm gonna have a look and see if I can find a guitar sound that's gonna be really useful for this song. So let's go. So we're going to get rid of the channel strip that's already there, and I'm gonna go Contact. And thank God, I love what the most recent versions of Logic have now. You can actually search for plugins. So I just go K-O-N-K, or hold on, whoops, try again. K-O-N-T, so Contact 7. So we're going to go guitars, electric, and I think that this will go the Stratosphere, which is the Stratocaster library from Orange Tree Samples. I just love these guys' libraries so much. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at their snapshot presets here and see if we can find something that's going to work really well for this. So let's go. A bit too. I reckon that'll work. There's pretty much little to no reverb on the original track. So what I'm going to do is go into the tone section. What's really good about the Orange Tree sample libraries is they have like plenty of different effects like reverbs and choruses and amp simulation and that already built into the plugin, so you don't have to rely on other plugins to do those kinds of jobs. So what I need to do is, I'm not sure what reverb they're using, so I'm going to find out. Let's see, is it this one? Sounds like there's something else there as well. I wonder if it's, is there another, is there a spring reverb or something on this? Let's see. Yeah. Delay. Let's go back up top. Tremolo, volume, wah. Reverb, EQ, compressor, chorus, no, let's see. Please excuse, because of my my visual impairment, I have to do a lot of zooming in all the time, so so that'll be why. Delay, amp. Is there anything else? This is all the spring. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. That's a bit drier now, like the original track is. All right, so let's bring in the electric bass. I reckon for the sounds of things in the original song, they use the Rickenbacker, the Scarby Rickenbacker bass in Contact, which I've used a lot even in my own productions, and I just love the crunchiness of the sound of that thing. So I'm gonna open up Contact again. I've been really getting into using the quick load feature in Contact and putting all my libraries in folders rather than relying on the libraries section at the left. I do it all with the quick load section. So I love that. So let's go basses. So we're going to go Scarby Rickenbacker, palm mute. So I need to solo it. All right, I think that's pretty good. Let's just pull back the sound of the, hold on, what am I doing? Let's just pull back the volume of this. Okay, I reckon we're pretty good with that. So now this track here, I used, what is it, Synth Bass 2. Yes, Synth Bass 2 in the GM file. Now, the original song is a heavy dose of like Southern hip hop beats used like with a very 60s soul kind of aesthetic in the with the sound and the guitars and all that. So if you know your hip hop and you like your Southern hip hop, then it's heavy on the 808. And what's very common in a lot of hip hop these days is using an 808 kick as a bass line. So, so back with the old 808 drum machine, you only had one pad and just one pitch of a kick. But these days with modern samplers, if you take a long 808 kick with a boom and put it into a sampler, you can take that kick and use whatever sample you want, and then just put it on a key, and then any subsequent keys above it or below it are gonna treat it as a bass line. So what I'm going to do here now, this is it's a tricky situation with trying to blend two different bass sounds, because an 808 bass sound is always going to be pretty overpowering, and the original Boots on the Ground had a bit of a distortion happening. Every 8 bars or so, there's a turnaround that happens, and you hear the 808 boom 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 as the pick bass is gum gum gum, and there's a bit of a rubbing distortion that happens in the original song. So hopefully I will try to relieve that as best I can. Let me say the obvious here, like I'm not an engineer by any stretch of the imagination, so I know the basics when it comes to mixing and making sure everything is right as far as volume and putting in some basic effects and EQ and things on tracks. So what I'm going to do, whenever I work on my own productions that are heavy on the hip hop scheme of things, and I go with an 808 bass line, what I use is something I brought into battery 4. So I'm going to bring that up. Now, do I already have that here? I do. So let's go here. So I've got this section here, battery 4. Now we go down here. So where is it? So trap. Here we go, trap kick chromatic, here we go. So now I've got this. So, yep, so this is what we want. So let's just make sure that that's a little too lower than what it normally is. So let's transpose this up to plus 24, and then we should get, there we go, beautiful. So I reckon let's might even do is just put a little bit of less emphasis on the low end on this electric bass track. So I'll just pop you down. Now, what I'm going to have to do here is do a little bit of automation, because there's on the 808 bass track, there's times where it kind of cuts out. So we need to listen in closely. So what I'll do is I'll put latch on in the automation side of things. And now let's just listen. That's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just do a little trick just to mute it when it gets into the next bar, so it doesn't hang over. So let's see if it picks it up. So let's just see if that, there we go. So now, okay, same here again. 2, 3, and what was that? That was, yeah. Come on. Wait a minute. 26. Okay, cool. That's fine. Okay, here we go again. 2, 3, and okay, so then okay, again. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, so then 4. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. We're all good. So now we'll put that onto read, because we don't want to see the automation again. Let's just make sure everything else is on read. That's fine. So all right, cool. So that's all sorted out with the 808 bass. Now, these next 2 tracks we're not going to be needing. They are used in the MIDI file for certain things. So obviously, vocal guide is it's always a prerequisite that when I do a MIDI file for hit tracks, I have to play in the melody as a guide for the singer. And normally most singers wouldn't use it, but particularly for karaoke purposes, it's good to have the melody there as a guide. So we're not going to need that. Now, harmonies guide. This is a function in some MIDI file players, particularly Merish ones. And Merish, Merish, is a company that Hit Tracks has on their side, and Hit Tracks sells a lot of their MIDI file players with built-in sound modules. And one of the things it has too, if you hook up a mic to the Merish player, this particular track, harmonies guide, as long as you select the right sound for it, it will harmonize with the vocals. So it feeds in all the MIDI information, and then it spits it out as actual harmonies with the vocalist, with the harmonies singing the same words. So for the MP3 purpose, we're not going to be needing this. So let's kill that. Now, the next two tracks are choir R's tracks. Now, another thing too with MIDI files is John. By the way, John Ialuna, if you are watching, big shouts out to you, man. John Ialuna is the guy that runs Kid Tracks. Pretty much like early 2000s, I think. He wanted to get all the MIDI file programmers for Hit Tracks to do R and oo backing vocal tracks, because there's a choir R's and a voice oo's patches in the GM world. So what I'm going to do for this is I use this library called RealityVox Ladies. And what it's really good for is obviously R's, O's, oo's, do's, and there's, you can even do la's and shoes and shooby-dooby-doos, all those kinds of things. So what I'm going to do is, in the original Boots on the Ground, there's a little BB part that happens during the chorus that goes, oh, 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 oh. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the Ladies library, and you'll see how that works. You can set up key switches where different keys on the keyboard will trigger different articulations. So for example, I have a backing tracks snapshot in Contact where I've got keys on the keyboard that will do R, O, oo, and do articulations. So we're going to get it to fire off the O and the oo, so that it's oh, oh, oh. So here's the O-O's. Okay, so now you're going to see my lovely face because I, for some reason, forgot that my video camera wasn't showing up before, but we're all good to go. So I think with this, we're going to put you girls in a track stack. And we're going to pull the vocals up a little bit, like so. Now it's going to sound like. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, right, now we're good to go. So the next track is another clean guitar track. Pretty much every kind of 4 bars, there's just a chord that goes bop, bop, and that's kind of it. So this one's pretty easy. We're going to go up to this first track. We're going to copy, channel strip, and go here, and go paste. Now, what we're going to have to do here, with a lot of the MIDI files that I work on of recent times, I use a lot of expression controller messages. I set up a rotary knob on my FA08 synth to control expression controller messages. So you see here, all these expression events here. Now, in the MIDI world, there are certain controllers that, for example, modulation wheel is a good example. When you record in modulation wheel events, it sends controller messages, and so controller numbers go from 0 to 127 as far as the controller numbers, and then the values can go from 0 to 127. So I've set up, as I said, a knob to control expression, but this guitar library won't work with expression messages. So what I'm going to do is change these expression messages. So I go Shift S, or no, actually Shift E. No, wait a minute. No, Shift S for similar events using the same controller number, and I'm going to change everything to volume. And then I'm going to take this first take this first volume one out. So now it should be, there we go. I reckon let's give that that 808 one some decent volume for this. Let's just make sure that that's off of read. That's good. So what I need to do, let's okay. So what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's always so dicey with trying to get the right blend. Maybe if we go... maybe put a bit of compression on it. Would it make a diff? Let's see. And we maybe go... drums, kick drum. Let's kick drum. Let's see. So, whew, that's hectic. That's hectic. So, well, that's now really distorting. So I think let's pull that back to there. To 0. Let's see. Okay, I think what we'll do, let's just pull this fader down. Let's just listen to the two basses together just to make sure they're not rubbing. Okay, that seems... okay, I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's too bad. All right, so now we come to the all-important drums. So for this reason, usually with a drums in a song, it obviously dictates the kind of song it is. Obviously, if I'm working on a fully organic song with live drums, then I'm going to choose a drum kit that's going to work with the song and also the era of the song it's from. And for pretty much all of my live drum tracks, I use Superior Drummer 3, and that thing just works like a champ. And the core library for it, and the all the expansions that I've got, like Rock Foundry, Legacy of Rock, Hitmaker, Story, State of the Art, and then I've got some Easy Drummer packs, like the Muscle Shoals pack. There's UK Pop. they just work, and the sounds are incredible. So I use Superior Drum a lot, but for obviously because of this song, and also because it's a heavy 808 based song, what I'm going to do is strip this track so all the individual note events are going to be on separate tracks. And what I'll do is I will change the software instrument. I'm going to move that region to another track, and then find a sound that's going to work well for that. So let's see how we go. So what we do is we go so what we're doing is it up here? I don't think it is. So we need to go edit. Now I think it's here. No, it's not that. Select, quantize, folder, move, trim, split. Here we go. Split, I think. No, it's not that. Browse and join, convert. Maybe this is it. I think so. So separate by note pitch. Okay, so when I press this is what happens. So I'm just gonna zoom out a bit. So you'll see here we've got from here on all the separate drum tracks by note pitch. So let's make sure everything's all right. Cool. So that's cool. Now by default, Logic is always going to bring up a organic live sounding kit, but we're not going to be needing that. We're going to go full on 808. So what we'll do is we will, so this is going to be, that's the header track. We can get rid of that. In fact, that's not too bad. But I think for this reason, have we got any other kicks? That's not too bad. We could have used that as an 808 kick, but obviously because it's not an 808 kit that's got like kick, snare, hi-hats and everything, then yes, we're going to have to choose a different sound. So I think that's going to be, hold on, let's just make sure. C1, which is, so in a general MIDI drum track, there are certain keys that will always have the same kind of sound, whether kick, snare, whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to solo this, but we don't need to, oh, I see, that's true. So we're going to bring in a new software instrument track. We're going to pull this down here. Now we're going to get rid of that. We're going to go to battery 4. We'll go battery 3, this section here. Whenever I'm working on like a hip hop track, depending on the type of vibe I'm going for, because this is kind of like pretty much like a mainstream sounding hip hop thing, I'm going to go with Scott Storch kicks. For those who know, obviously Scott Storch helped out a lot with Dre, like on Still Dre and that, but he's also an incredible producer in his own right. So I've got a selection of his kits. Let's have a look through these kits. Let's have a look through these kicks, I should say. So that's a little too boom bappy. I think actually for this, we're not going to go with that. There's a library that I downloaded from Native Instruments called Pure Drip, which is a heavy trap-based sound library. So we're going to go here. Going to go sounds. Going to go battery kits. Then we're going to go to Pure Drip, all kicks. No, actually all kicks 1. And let's just have a look through these. There's going to be like the kick that I use on that bassline track is actually one of the kicks from this library, but I brought it into a completely different kit and melodically, chromatically mapped it. So let's see. I don't mind that. So let's so we're going to put some compression on that. Okay, that works pretty well. We're going to disable this. Let's mess around with okay, that's pretty good. So let's go back to this. Hold on. Let's go back to this track. Now for this, this is going to be the D1, which is the snare track. So same process, new software instrument, get rid of the old one, go battery 4. Now we're going to go all snares. So all, so where is it? Pure Drip. Pure Drip, where are you? All snares. Snares, all snares. Here we go. So let's go and have a look for some snares, or a snare sound that I like. So let's just firstly grab you, Sedan. Okay, that kind of works. Let's go. Compressor. Drums. That works really well. Let's just kill that. All right, so that sounds good. I've got that sounding like I'd like to sound. Okay, let's get rid of that. We'll go back to here. Now this is the D sharp one, which is a clap. So let's do the same. Okay, so same process. Battery 4. Pure drip all claps. All symbols, all claps. Here we go. Right, so we grab this fella, put it down here. No, try again. Now, get rid of that. Now, that's too reverby. We just want to okay, that's not too bad. So let's just disable this again. Right, cool. That's good. Okay, couple more drum tracks to go. Now this is going to be the hi-hat track. It's not what I want it to sound like, so we will do another software instrument track. Get rid of that. Same process as before. We go pure drip hi-hats. Pure drip, where am I? All shakers, kicks, hi-hats. So we'll this sounds pretty good to me. Let's play it by itself. Let's just mute everything else. I reckon overheads. Okay, that's sitting in a good place. And EQ-wise, the hat just works beautifully. Now for this next track, this is going to be where things change a little, because we're not going to be using any of the pure drip kits in Battery 4. I'm actually going to be using a kit in Superior Drummer 3. There's an Easy Drummer expansion pack called Latin Easy X. So it's got, you know, everything from congas, bongos, timbales, and other assorted instruments. But for this reason, we're using the tambourine, because obviously this is a pretty heavy Southern hip hop, and they love their tambourines, those guys. So, and but it obviously goes back to a lot of 60s soul, because there's a bit of a 60s vibe in this as well. We don't need battery 4, but what we are going to need is Superior Drummer 3. So by default, it's going to open up the default Superior Drummer 3 kit. This is what it sounds like. This is the main. The volume's a little bit low on that. I'm sorry, but what we'll do is go down here, Latin Cuban percussion. And then I've set up my own user preset where I've gone in and tried to map as much as I can to a general MIDI map for the percussion. So I reckon for this, that's a little too high with the tambourine side of things. That's pretty good. So now we're gonna, this is, we don't have to change the note mapping for this. So I reckon let's change that tambourine to this. Okay, that sounds good. I reckon let's turn the hat down a bit. Okay, that's pretty much everything now. So I'm just going to have a listen down the song just to hear if everything is sitting fine for me, mix-wise. That kick, I reckon that kick on this track here. Where are we? Here we go. I think it's just want to go. I reckon it's pretty much as high as we can go. Can we? Do it again. A little problem with this plugin. Trying to zoom in. I'm just thinking probably it's a little too loud, particularly when we hit the... Yeah, that's better. It's not clipping as much. All right, so I think pretty much I'm happy with how it's sounding mix-wise. If you've got any pointers, I mean, obviously, I don't do just hip-hop sounding tracks for hit tracks. I do everything from, from modern tracks to classic rock tracks to jazz to all sorts of things. So I'm all over the joint. But if you've got any pointers, hit me in the comments. But now the last missing piece of the puzzle is Logic of recent times. In their last versions of Logic Pro 10 and now Logic Pro 11, they've got a mastering plugin which just it uses AI to analyze the track and then puts together a mastering chain of what it thinks it wants the track to sound like. So what I'm going to do is in the main mixing, the main mix bus in Logic, I just hit mastering. Now it's bringing up the plugin and it's analyzing all of the song. Okay, so now it's analyzed it. So now, okay, so that's what it's come up with. Let's just do some tweaking. There we go. So let's have a listen. I reckon. So here's the, so I'm just going to move in between the track without the mastering and with. So here's without, like this. You can see it's really clipping hard. And we put it back on. Okay, I think that's sitting pretty well. So we're going to go right to the end of the track. Now, got to find. Now, what I'm going to do is add some extra bars. So go up here to the end bar. Let's make it 103 because we want a little bit of silence at the end of the file, just in case it, like you play the MP3 file and then for some reason it goes onto another file, then at least you've got time to stop it and think about where you go next. So all that being good, I'm happy with that. We're going to, hold on, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Yeah, wait a minute. Let's go like this. I'm going to do this now. Let's just play it one more time. I reckon we could, let's see. Yeah, I think that might work a bit better. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with it. So now the process with bouncing down MP3s. So when I do an MP3 mix for hit tracks, I do, depending on the song, 3 different MP3 mixes. One as it is, as you're hearing now, then one without the guitars, and then one with just bass and drums. So that's basically how it works. So I'm going to show you the process of me bouncing down the normal mix. So here we go. So I'm going to go Command B. So it's already set 1 to 103, and it's set as an MP3 file. That's 320. Now that actually should be, we're going to change that. I don't know why that happened, but we're going to make that 320 kilobits per second. And then stereo is going to be 320. And then, yep, all good to go. And we're going to bounce. So now we go to the browsing data box. So up in the top left, I've got a tag here for hit tracks files. So we'll go to audio files. Now this is, we're going to change the name to Boots on the Ground. And here we go. Now, being that it's a pretty simple song and it's not too taxing on the CPU, it's going to easily breeze through the bouncing process. But obviously, if it's a lot more involved, then the slower it is. But there you go. So there you go. So that was the whole process of getting this MP3 mix together. Please give a like in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you on the next go round. See ya.